Number 7, part C. It says to verify that the translation for the image triangle would produce WX is congruent to W prime X prime. If you remember when we went over the notes, the example 2 and example 3 that had the really long procedure where we had to prove all the corresponding angles were congruent and all the corresponding sides were congruent. Well, that's what this idea is. We have to prove that those sides are congruent by first proving that their measurements are equal. So, I already kind of wrote down some information here. W is 30, X is 37, W prime -5, 6, which that was all the given stuff. And then in parts B, we found that X prime was -5, 13. So we're going to find the length of WX and we're going to find the length of W prime X prime. And if they have the same measurement, then we can conclude that the sides are congruent. So let's find the length of WX. Well, to do that, see how the 3's right here are the same? I wouldn't use those. I would use the 7 and the 0 to find my length. So I'm going to take 7 minus 0 to find that the length of WX is 7 units. And then I'm going to find the length of W prime X prime. So again, see how the -5's are the same. So we wouldn't use those. We would use the 6 and the 13 to figure out the length. So, W prime X prime would be 13 minus 6, and 13 minus 6 again is 7. So, since the 7 units, since WX is 7 units and W prime X prime is 7 units, we can state that the length of WX equals the length of W prime X prime, which equals 7 units. Therefore, if their lengths are congruent, we can state that if their lengths are equal, we can state that the sides are congruent. Therefore, WX is congruent to W prime X prime. And that is it for part C. So there you go. I did that one completely with you. Just remember that if you want to prove, if we want to verify, we have to prove that the corresponding parts, their measurements are equal. And once we prove that those measurements are equal, we can prove that the sides are congruent. All right. Thank you for that is all for number 7.